Let's have a look at this little percussion pistol I picked up a few years ago. It's a fairly crude thing. It dates from about 1850, Belgian or Dutch from what I can make out. That's a little chip to the barrel. I don't think that's been caused by anything other than it being dropped or whacked against something. It's going to be a fairly close range thing, given that it is smooth bore and a fairly short barrel as well. Once you've got a bit of powder in there and the ball, which is not that one because it doesn't actually fit, it's not going to be very accurate. It's also, you can see, you've got there's no sights. The grip is quite odd. I mean, people were small in those days, but you know, trying to hold it comfortably, you just can't. Certainly not at a sort of pointable at anything other than very, very short range target. It's pretty crudely made. It's been pretty crudely repaired as well at some time, I think. All of which meant it was, I think I paid £50 for this, which I'm quite happy with. Actually functions, half cock, which is where the term going off half cocked actually comes from. It will sometimes fire. Full cock. Percussion cap goes on that little bit there that has been fired several times by someone without a percussion cap on it. A little bit of black powder on a ball, and you're ready to go. It's about, I think, 40 bore, which it works out at about 10.2 mil, something like that. As inside, that's a 50 caliber round, and that will fit sort of loosely, but then the ball would have been wrapped in a patch to stop it falling out. The trigger pull is absolutely atrocious. You can see the trigger is very narrow. It's profiled, but it's not comfortable. Very narrow, and that's a very, very heavy pull. And then it would go off, and then your baddie, hopefully, would be gone. The disadvantage of these really is that you carry it all the time. The powder will absorb water and it won't actually go off. You'd have to carry it sort of with the percussion cap on already, so there is a risk of it again going off. They weren't very safe, but as a defence, not too bad a little tool. Nowadays, I mean, you can still buy these fairly cheap, under £100 if you look carefully. They are increasing in value as the cost of deactivated obsolete caliber guns continues to go up and up and up. And before anybody says it, yes, under section 68 of the Firearms Act, this is an antique. Also under the same Firearms Act, it is perfectly possible to shoot this. I think you'd have to have very little regard for your hands or your eyes if you're actually going to try it. But to actually shoot it would mean I would need a firearms certificate, which as a man with depression I won't get, and you'd also need an explosives licence. So if you don't want to shoot it, perfectly legal. If you actually want to shoot it, and I'm not really sure why you should. I mean, you can't quite sit there. Yes, you can. There's a gap. Yeah, I certainly wouldn't, even knowing how to do it. And you can actually buy the percussion caps quite legally, and you can buy the ball ammunition quite legally. You just can't get the explosives or the black powder, which is filthy, dirty stuff anyway. But I think it makes a nice little display item. It's unusual. Not many people have got one of these. See, the trigger is actually, despite being horribly thin and very, very heavy, it's actually reasonably ornate, which I find quite odd because the rest of it sort of isn't really. But yeah, it's a curio. It's a nice little thing to own. It's what people would have carried for self-defence at one time. You're probably better off actually clubbing somebody over the head with it actually once you'd shot them. We could talk about wound ballistics, what actually happens when you shoot something. Not only have you got a big piece of metal going into you, which is causing lots of damage, it sends out a shockwave behind it, like that squashes stuff, and then you've got all the dirty, horrible bits of metal and powder and whatever, and then the wound channel closes up again, which is basically what happens if you get shot. Not very nice. But that's reality, and Jeremy Clarkson does make a big point of saying that actually gunshot wounds have increased the rate of advance in surgery quite dramatically. But anyway, my little percussion pistol, a cute little thing to own. I have got a percussion rifle as well, which I suppose strictly being smooth bore is a musket. Perhaps we'll have a look at that later on as well. But I just think it's a nice little curio, 50 quid. I mean, it's never going to be worth very much because of that damage to the barrel. It's never going to be worth much more than that, but I like it. I like it very much. It's not going to be accurate. It's not going to be much more than a little 6 foot range on something like that. Guaranteed to actually hit something somewhere. But yeah, I think it's a curious little thing to own.